Hey, Tech Talk Worldwide. How are you today? Welcome back to oh my gosh, I was going to count again. We're at like 94, I believe, Tech Talk Lives. And today we're lucky to have our special guest be Brandy Pigg. And if you guys have not been introduced to her, I'm excited to share her with you. She's been in the industry for over 15 years and she has a lot to share as well. Wonderful. Hi, Miss Brandy.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
Very, very good. I want to welcome you as our, I believe, 94th guest on Tech Talk Live. I know
I'm so excited.
we as admin have already been working on behind the scenes what we're going to do for our 100th. And if you put it in perspective of TV episodes, they apparently on average there's like 10 TV episodes per season. That means that we're on our 10th season.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I find myself going back and watching specific episodes.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I do is the same. Just recently, I shared Nellie Nell's Tech Talk again because there
Mhm.
was some information at the very end of that Tech Talk. And it's amazing how many people have been like, I had no clue. I've been in the industry for this long. I didn't know, about some of the things that you shared with pedicures and stuff. I look forward to you being one of the same ones that people review over and over again.
Right. I'm going to swipe the comments because there's a glare and I can't really read it anyway. So I'm
So
just
as
going to
the
get rid of
comments, I can read them anyway, so they all know that I don't ignore them. We'll get to them as soon as we can. But in the beginning, what we want to do is know a little bit more about you. And so you've been in the industry for 15 years, but it said prior to that you were a hobbyist. And so
Yes.
what made you transition and what started you as a hobbyist to transition and to become licensed?
Well, I've genetically always had extremely poor nail structure. Like I have just really, really bad nails. And so as a child, you start to develop insecurities about yourself with those type of things. So I wanted pretty nails. And there was no one that at the time in my very, very small town that even did nails. You'd have a cosmetologist or two that would paint or do a pedi or something like that, but no one did extensions or enhancements. And so when we had a Fred's dollar store open down the street from my house, when I was 13. And they had the old school Lee and Kiss acrylic sets that had a brush that was like this big. Like this is the
Yes,
early 90s.
I remember.
I taught myself how to do my own enhancements with that little horrible kid. I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
it's better now, but at the time it was really, really bad. It was not much better than just Lee press-ons. So I taught myself how to do nails on myself and my sisters then, and I was like 13, 12, 13. And so all through school, I learned, I practiced on my girlfriends and they paid me. I made decent money in high school doing my friends' nails. And so then when I I went to college, I went to MTSU, and I didn't really find anything that I wanted to do. Um, I had actually wanted to go into the cosmetology type world and do special effects makeup for movies and things of that nature. And so I actually really wanted to specialize in zombies. And my mom told me there was no money in that. So
Little
I
did she
know.
know about.
She truly thought that everything was going to like a digital enhancement thing and that it was all going to be computerized. And I was kind of thinking, I don't think there's going to ever be a way to get away from stage makeup. Like, I just don't think that's ever going to be a thing. And she wouldn't help me go through school for that. And she had really great intentions. So when The Walking Dead came out, I was just like, there's no nice way to give your mom the finger over the phone. I could be making lots of money, mom. You know. And
Yes.
but when I had children outside of college, I had children younger, and I won't say younger. I was a decent age. I was 22 when I had my first child, but had two babies in less than 2 years. Like 15 months, and now got two kids, and I was singing Barney songs and Dora the Explorer all day, for a couple years. So when they were getting ready to go into elementary school, I signed up for a class. I was like, I need something quick and easy to where I can go make money, and I already knew how to do nails. So I was like, it's less than a 2-semester program here in the state of Tennessee. It's I think 700 hours now, 650, 700, something like that. So I was like, I can get that done quick and easy, and it's just real close, and then I can be making money. And that's how I got started in the industry, and learned very quickly that I already knew more than my instructor, which was kind of a bummer. Like, they would sit us in a room and just let us watch YouTube, which is how I found the majority of your guest speakers,
I
on YouTube and
I've
and
heard that so many times.
social media, Facebook. Um, So then, graduated in 2010. I did compete in the SkillsUSA competition, which, if someone's not familiar with SkillsUSA, it's high school and college level. So it's like for beginners. But basically, if someone wins one of those contests, like if you go all the way to the national competition and you compete and you win, you're actually like in the top 2% of the industry. Like in whatever industry you're in. It could be hair, it could be barbering, aesthetics, nails, electrician. That means that they have tested those folks on so many different points of interest that they really know their stuff. They're not just there to compete, that they actually know they have to pass the grade. And so I was like really impressed with myself. I didn't realize that I knew what I knew.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that I had gleaned so much. And so I've really I was really kind of concerned being in a small town and having a business and doing something that I wouldn't make enough money to support myself, because that's a big issue in the industry.
Mhm.
And I'm in a very small town, like 6,000 or less people in the city limits.
Yeah,
And so to
I'm
be able to earn a living doing nails is a big deal,
yes.
because there's so many nail techs that don't know how to do that. And I think that's my biggest I don't know, the biggest topic that I'm on these days is making money. Whatever we can do to make money.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's how I
So
got my
when
start.
So when you finally, so you're right, you were self-taught as a hobbyist and
Mhm.
obviously at a rather young age, which so
Yeah.
many of us have tried, but you were actually already making money. And so when you took it out of your home and you had to go pro with it, now you're paying a rent, now you're paying an
Mhm.
overhead, now you're paying more. How did you transition those same friend clients into paying you more to help cover it? Or did you
Well, I
just
was
leave it?
already charging them. Like, even my sisters, I was like, no, this costs money. Like, I have to buy it. I'm not doing it for free. Like, maybe if it's your birthday or something. But other than that, like, no, you're paying me. Um,
I love it.
I've always been about making money, so I never had that thing of I'm going to give something away for free. And somebody told me years and years and years ago that there's something in the psyche of people that when you're giving something away for free, they think there's something wrong with it, like it's damaged. You're damaged goods if you're discounting yourself.
Yes.
And they don't want to pay for something that's not good. So if
Mhm,
you're not charging an appropriate price,
mhm.
if it doesn't cost what they think it should cost, or even if it's more expensive, they think that you're more, you have a more designer label if it's a little bit more expensive. You
Yes.
brand yourself that way. And you kind of have to pull yourself out of the trenches of your own mind to get that. And I've kind of pushed the limit in my hometown, because the median income here is like 30 grand. So a lot of these folks are just everyday working hard folks, and a lot of them are single moms. And so I have kind of reached, like, at the moment, reached a max where I can push the limit with what I charge, because they really honestly can't afford it. Like,
Yeah.
and I know that it's difficult. Like, they have to budget and they have to schedule. But also,
Mhm.
when you are more expensive, it teaches your clients how to appreciate their own money. Like, they start to
Ye-
come around, like, I have to budget this and I have to work hard for this and I have to earn it. So when they're earning it, your job is much more easy.
Yes. And they'll
I've
take
learned
you,
it.
yeah, they'll be more serious with their nails too. So
Mhm.
they know they're not going to get a free repair 4 weeks later. They know
Exactly.
they know that
No,
you're busy. Yeah.
I do have a guarantee. Because if there's a product breakdown, if there's something I did or something I didn't get securely placed or whatever, it's going to happen within the first 38 hours, 38, 72 hours. It's going to happen right there in that window. So if it happens in the first 3 days, as long as you message me and say, hey, this happened, send me a picture, I will replace it the first 3 days. Because I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Sometimes freak accidents happen. But after
Yeah.
that, you're paying for it.
Yeah, I agree
You
with you
know,
1,000%. I think there's a trust and an honesty that can come with that as well. You know, because I have some clients are like, I had a stressful weekend. I chewed 2 of them off. I need a couple of repairs. And I'd rather have the honesty than saying, I don't know what happened. I woke up and they were gone. I took a shower
yeah,
and they were
they popped off and it looks like they've been
yeah.
yanked off with a
You
tow
can
hitch.
tell. And so when there's that open, kind of an open policy like that, there's an open
Mhm.
honesty that kind of comes with that. And I think that it's important to have that with our clients so that they don't try to pull one up over on us when we can visibly tell what happened if it was chewed
Mhm.
off, but or assisted, we should say.
Yeah.
And I love your mind. You know, it's interesting that you just said that we think something's flawed if it's free. For instance,
Mhm.
there's a little community thing here, and Kona Ice was just offering free shave ice. And the young little kids were even had it in their mind, it must be old syrup. There must be something wrong with it
Mhm.
because given it to us for free. Even in a young child's mind, they thought they wouldn't go get it because they thought something was wrong with it. And
Yeah.
really, it was just their way of giving back to this community. It's the end of summer. Maybe they are
And
wanting to get rid of
honestly,
it.
if I ever want to run a special, that's what I say. I say, you guys have been so awesome. I want to give something to you. And I make sure I preface that with whatever I'm going to do, or I'm running a game, or I'm doing a raffle, or I'm donating this. I make sure that I say why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Because and I don't do it very often. It's like just for special events or Relay for Life or Cancer Network, or I make sure I tag something else with it so that in their mind they're seeing me as more benevolent
right.
than just a business person, because it is very serious. And I think that is the biggest issue with the industry is money,
Mhm. I agree. It's
unfortunately.
hard. And we're always trying to undercut, to try to price point the loss leader of our sign in front of our store or whatever. But I'm
Mhm.
actually teaching a class right now, and this week is to know your competition. That means get out on foot, walk into that place, and almost judge it. How does it
It
smell when you
really,
walk in? Did they
yes.
greet you when they walked in? Are their prices visible? Is it a sliding scale? Is it a concrete? Like, go know who your
Seriously.
competition is.
That is a big that whole topic is like, you can be the greatest nail tech in the world. You can know everything about everything. If nobody knows you're there, you're not going to make any money. You have to market yourself. If no one knows what you do,
Mhm.
you have to be able to articulate what you do. I'm having a bad day. I'm not enough coffee, but
Oh,
I'm not
you're with me.
articulate.
Come on in.
I'm having to drink all this water, but um, they don't know how to market themselves. The everyday tech does not know how to market themselves. You know, I've recently started working with nail flights, and forgive me, I have someone calling, and I have to push this button away because I can't see you. Uh, when I've started working the demo floors, the show floor and demoing, and you have such a vast array of different types of people all at one time, I hear it over and over and over. They're not getting business. They're not getting people in their chair. If you don't have somebody in your chair, you're not making any money, regardless of what you charge. Okay, so what's the point of buying all these products that are going to sit on your shelf and rot if you're not getting people in your chair? And they're afraid to put their face on social media. They're afraid to charge more. They're afraid to advertise because they don't really know how,
Mhm.
and I think that's a big portion that's missing in the industry, and I really I'm glad that you're giving me this opportunity to have a voice about it. Thank you so
Yeah, you're welcome. We need it. And you're right. We don't learn that in school.
Mm-mm.
Even the schools don't know how to market. That's why they're always trying to chase, trying to get a full classroom because there's not enough
Mhm.
students to even host a class. And so sometimes, like in our area, they only do a nail tech course once or twice a year because they don't even know how to market to get people into the industry, let alone
When
into the salon.
exactly when I went to the local college, which would be Chattanooga State, they're a decent school. They're not a bad school at all. But they advertised they had a nail tech program on their website. Their tech programs, all of their tech programs, are through the TCAT, which is Tennessee School of College of Advanced Technologies or something, like it's an acronym. And Chattanooga State is the mother place, but then they have this sub school that's just for tech. So they have an academic side and they have a tech side. And they're two separate entities, but they don't tell you that on the website. It's just all under Chattanooga State. And so they advertised on the website that they had a nail tech program. So I applied for the nail tech program. And then once they had my FAFSA money, once they had my application fees and all those things, then it was like, oh, well, we don't really have enough students interested. So we need you to take the full cosmetology program. And I'm like, the full cosmetology program is a 1,500-hour course. I only need 600 hours at the time. So I was like, so you want me to take an extra 2 to 3 semesters that I don't need for something I don't even want to do? Like, I'm not interested at all. And I felt like I was getting shysted really
Mhm.
quick. And so I had to do an entire semester of cosmetology until I complained so much. I ended up accidentally complaining to the dean's wife on Saturday. And then on Monday morning, I had a class available. So I
It
did.
helps though to use your
She
voice.
asked me a question and she caught me on the wrong day. And normally I'm not, I have a potty mouth sometimes, but normally I'm not just hateful with anybody. But she caught me on just one of those days, like I was just like, I'm on a Saturday, I'm having to give free manicures away for this thing just to make up hours. And I was like, first class, I don't even want. And so she asked me how I liked Chattanooga State. I didn't know who she was until her husband walked in, and I was
Oops.
I'm in so much trouble. I thought they were going to expel me. I was so upset. And then I went into school on Monday, and my instructor was like, "Do you still want to take a nail tech program?" Yes. And she was like, "Well, if you can find 8 students by Thursday, we'll open the program." Well, by Thursday, we had 16 students
Oh my
because
goodness.
I just started asking people. I went out in the parking lot and asked the homeless people, "Do you want to take a class? Can you fill out a FAFSA form? Walk right in there and talk to this lady." I was like, "You need to get off the street, go in there, take this class. Like, I'll buy your scrubs, whatever. Go take this class." And we had retired veterans take the class. We did have a homeless girl. She had left her boyfriend because he was beating her up and she didn't have anywhere to go. So she was living in her car in the parking lot. But she would come in every day. We would all pitch in, buy her lunch, and she took the course. She did not finish the course, but still, like she gleaned knowledge. She went back home to live with her mom. Okay, so like for 8 years, three classes a year for 8 years because I complained enough. All
Yeah.
those students, and they had a minimum of 8, and like I think the max they ever had was like 24 per class. So
Mhm.
that's hundreds of people got to experience this industry just because I complained. And like I said, I'm not really a big
Mhm.
complainer, but
Yeah.
you have to say something. Don't
We
just
have
sit there.
Yes. So I don't know if you know my story. It's somewhat similar. There wasn't a course available in this area, but my aunt was an instructor. And I had grown
Mhm.
up in California. We had just moved to Wyoming. California, they had a nail only class. Why didn't Wyoming?
Right.
And so I had to like beg, 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 use my voice. And they were like, if you get 6 people together, the state will allow you to do a nail only course. They'll put it together. But they didn't have a curriculum for it. So I
Mhm.
got 6 people. I did what you did. I asked everybody, do you hate your job? But we didn't have a college to go through. We actually had to pay for it, but the school allowed us to make payments. And
That's
so
awesome.
with that, we had to sit in during the theory of the cosmetology class. So some days it would be a 3 hour class, some days we had no class, some days it would be a 2 hour class. And we finally made it through. It took months to do it. But you know what? It took my voice to make that change. One
Mhm.
person. You were that one person. I was the one
Mhm.
person. We made that change, and now look where it is today. I mean, now we're like, oh my gosh, there's too many nail techs, and they need to be stricter on the laws. Just
Oh
kidding.
man. See, with the whole deregulation thing, I'm
Oh,
so I'm just upset about it on so many different levels. But I do see both sides of the argument. I do see that, like, there are times when I've had really interested people. They just had a baby and they really love nails. They'd love to go to school for it, but they can't. Like right now is not the right time. And then by the time they have the right time, something life has happened and they don't have the money, or they don't have a car to get to school, or fill in the blank.
yeah.
So being able to just sit them down at my table, apprentice them, teach them the correct way instead of just a Cosmo girl sitting down in a class and giving them YouTube, because that's normally what happens. And
Yeah.
I truly feel like the nails should be completely sovereign outside of the cosmetology umbrella, simply because, and that's not to say that a cosmetologist doesn't know her stuff. I'm just saying that there's just so much that gets left out, and I feel like it needs to be a more in-depth,
Mhm.
more rich information class,
Yeah.
because they just don't have the focus. Like they're focused on hair. And even that those girls that do hair, there's some girls that do just the natural hair and they're fabulous at it. They don't ever add a product, or like a chemical product. They don't ever half the time some of those girls don't even use heat. Like they're just doing all these wet sets and everything, and it blows my mind. They can be sovereign. Like you can get a natural hairstylist license.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that a full cosmetology license needs to be if you're going to have that broad spectrum, then you need to have a bigger class with more information. And like all of these little ones, break it down, break it off,
Yeah.
and leave it sovereign on its own. And I really truly feel that nails really should. But then they're thinking about deregulating us, so then it's not going to matter anyway.
It's
Anybody with a brush and a comb can get to work.
hard. Yeah, it is very hard. Every state
Hopefully.
has different regulations, and then around the world you have different regulations. And
Mhm.
so it's interesting to see how they're trying to do um, like an umbrella type of regulation for everybody, but yet it goes for any contractor. So like what California is dealing with right now, I mean, whether you're an electrician or a nail tech, if you are an independent contractor of any source, they're making it work in fact, I think they find out this week. We plan on having a big discussion on it in here after this next meeting, but it will make it to where they have to be actually hired. They can no longer be independent contractors at all. And so
Really? So you'd have
that's
to
what
have fill out a
it's
job
called.
application and
And
pass.
so, yeah, so what happened is they were talking about independent contractors like Uber drivers, and they were talking about electricians, and they were talking about, all these other companies where they're independent contractor. What happened is it also fell into the salon industry.
Mhm.
And so it's going to be a big thing so I believe it's this week that California has another
Well, no,
meeting on
that's
that.
an interesting spin on it, because I was a little bit concerned if you're just going to take the need for a licensure away, that anybody can just walk into a salon and work. If someone can walk in off the street and pass the test, has knowledge, then I'm actually all about that. Like, because honestly, I could have went and taken the state board straight off the street without the need for school. I could have done it. I didn't realize I could have done it at the time, but
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that I wasn't going to learn anything in class. You know, like, oh, I'm watching YouTube. I was doing that at home.
And for
Um,
us, I could say the nail side I knew, but not all of the sanitation. And I still constantly stay up on the sanitation because it changes so much. And
there
so,
are things that change, yes, and each state is different based on regulation, which I personally feel that that specific area of our industry really should be a federal across the
yeah,
board. Everybody has the same sanitation, disinfection rules and regulations. I don't think that that should be based on the state anymore, simply because I see the need for that at one time in history. However, there's just the fact that some people cannot use the same file more than once, what's the point of making and producing reusable files if we're
Right.
not allowed to use them in a reusable fashion? Let's go to a cheaper file at that point. You know, we personally can reuse them here in the state of Tennessee. I don't know if that'll ever change. There's been times I've used the same file. I try not to use them more than twice, simply because they lose their potency. But like once I don't use it on hands, I sanitize it, get it all ready to go, put it in its little package, and use it for petties, because you don't need the same amount on a petty. So I'm able to save my money for that because we are allowed to use it. But like those different types of regulations, it's really honestly just costing us money. Because like you have somebody over here that says, oh, just regular 91% isopropyl alcohol is perfect. And then over here, somebody's saying, oh, well, this is not EPA, standard. And then you go to a show and you're like looking at all these different chemicals. And as a tech who may not know exactly what is necessary, some people don't even know they're on state board regulations. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's on the website, So,
I love it. It shows your passion though, and it shows that your dedication, obviously in the last 15 years, you're wanting to use your voice and be more of an advocate to be able to help not only techs be successful, but truthfully for the state themselves or federal to be able to be successful to help us.
well,
Like
like,
we can't use files at all. We can't, oh my gosh, Wyoming is one of the strictest. It's interesting that you don't have to be licensed to be a tattoo artist or a massage therapist, but boy, we are the same inspections that they have for some of the hospitals is the same inspections that we have for
the
our salons
tattoo
here.
artists don't have to be.
There's no
Wow.
inspection. They don't have to be licensed. There's no
Now,
inspection.
the massage therapists here, I don't know if they're supposed to be, but I know that they are not inspected in the state of Tennessee. And to me, I'm going to be honest with you, they're like like all up in people's business, like all the time. How do they
Yeah.
not know how are they not held to a more strict
Yeah. Well,
than
and
sometimes than we are? Because I mean, like, there's only a list. There's only a small list that can be wrong with your hands and feet. But then when you get up in somebody's body, there's yeast infections and staph and I can't
And
I
how
can't
we've
do
not
this.
been taught in school about effleurage and fleurage, how we can move with blood flow. So
Yeah,
therefore, what about people with blood clots? What about people with diabetes? What about these
exactly.
people who have these other health issues that they're not regulated, have to be certified? And so what if they massage the wrong way? What if they open up an area of flow that can
Give
literally
someone
make
a heart attack or a stroke,
right?
or
There's no
a lot of
regulation.
times, I don't know if you deal with this, a lot of ladies who are about to deliver, they're pregnant, they're really
Yep.
swollen, they're out there, they're wanting that pedicure before they go in, they're wanting their legs rubbed because they're swollen, and I'm going, love you, not
No.
gonna do it. Like, I'll paint your toes, I'll make you pretty, make sure that you're not gonna, be nasty for your photos, but I'm not rubbing all that swelling out, honey. No, because blood clots, like you said, I'm not putting you in premature labor. I'm not doing it. And they get so mad at me and they're like, I've never heard such. And I'm like, well, Google it.
Yeah. Or
Because
or go to your doctor and get a
Mhm.
release form that they say that this is
Exactly.
okay. And a lot of times even with oh, well, that's exactly it. Some people have just that permanent edema. So it's not that they're pregnant or whatever, they just have permanent leg swelling for some reason. But yet,
Mhm.
once again, you start talking meds and you find out that they're on blood thinners, they're on blood pressure medication, they're on all this. It's like you still need a release form to make sure that you are healthy enough
Yes.
that if I circulate your blood, that I'm not going to create something or
Exactly.
trigger something. And so
Because
it's
I would
important.
literally, I would die to
Yeah.
know that I hurt somebody. Like, I would be like,
Oh, yeah.
It would, like, the first time I cut someone accidentally, I had a lady who has I mean, extreme keratosis on her feet. Like, she looks like she has chicken legs because of the skin that does not slough off naturally, like the big bumpy, scaly, like extreme. On top of having extreme keratosis, she also has extreme pincered nails on every single toe. And so here I am trying to clip her toenails. Here I am trying to file them correctly. Well, you know how as much as I do, when you go to clip that toenail, sometimes the underskin there, and word just let me, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you can really damage that if you're not careful, especially with people that have the extreme curvature. And she was this first time ever coming to me. It was like 3 months into me owning my own shop, you know, and I cut her, and I mean, I held pressure on it for 30 minutes. I super glued it. I did everything I could possibly think of to get the bleeding to stop. Well, she's diabetic. She's on blood pressure. I'm like, I killed this lady. I called every day for a week. Are you okay? Is it infected? Do I need to come check it? You know, like I nearly died just cutting her. I cannot imagine what would happen if I actually hurt someone, put someone in the actual hospital. That would literally devastate me just as an individual, not as a business owner. Forget having a business. That would be the furthest thing from my mind. And so I don't understand how people could just not pay attention to that, just let it go. And I don't know, that just
It's
sorry,
so
I got
true.
on the soapbox there for a second.
No, we need to, those are the things that we need to be discussed is, as a student or even as a pro, we have those moments to where there's a slip or you zig and they zag, and whether you do it with the file, the nippers, the e-file, or whatever, or even overexposure of the product into the sidewalls can be painful because, if it's glue, then you're having to figure out what to do with that. I mean, you've done that. And so it's important for us to know how to correct that and learn from those mistakes. And we're all going to have them. And sometimes we're going to have multiple times that happens because we can't
Right.
control it. We're not perfect. We're not flawless. But what we can do is help educate the client. You know what? This is not normal. This happened. Let me, go through the blood spill procedure or whatever, not to
Which I
alarm them.
did, go through everything.
Oh my God, and make a big dramatic thing about it. You just
I mean,
say,
I was trying to play it cool, but I was worried because I was like, this is the first one. Like, oh God, I haven't even got started and I'm
yeah,
already dead.
yeah, so
It was
scary.
so funny.
So kind of go back. So Elaine says, I wish I would have taken that pay of what I should earn approach straight away, but I didn't have the confidence, and now I have to find it hard to up my prices. And that's so true. You did it right from the very beginning, but so many of us don't do that, and we offer it for free just to get the practice, or we give them a model price or whatever. And
Now,
so yeah.
one of the things that I had done is when I first started, yes, I matched price for price what the non-standard salon down the street. We only have one now besides me. So I matched price for price what they were charging when I started. Like when I first came out the gate, yes, but then slowly raised my prices, raised my, I do everything a la carte. I have a base fee, like for a fill-in is $40, and then everything is a la carte because then that puts the power into their hands. And so I can say they bring me, they've got their Pinterest thing, they've got their Instagram thing. This is what I want. This is what they have. It's two totally separate worlds most of the time, and so I'm like, okay, do you want it exactly like this, or do you want a modified version of this to fit your budget? Because I can do it just like this, and your eyeballs are going to go like this because it's going to be expensive. And sometimes I will share a Young Nails video where Tracy Ryerson does the how much thing. I love it. It's so funny. My clients are like, we love you. Because I obviously am cheaper, but I do it to fit their budget. Because if they can't pay me, I'm still making their money. So like I just up it yearly. I'll tweak it. I'm just trying to make this great for you guys, great for me. We all have to make some money. It's like when you go purchase bread at the grocery store. There's like at Walmart, there's like an aisle. The whole length, and they're all different loaves of bread. It's all bread, but they're all different and they're all different prices. So if you want an everything bread, because I like Dave's Killer Bread, it's amazing. The nut and seed one this is my favorite. So I'm like over here paying $8 for a loaf of bread that's like this big, and my husband's like, and I'm like, it's good, and it's just for me. This is just for me. Okay. And so I tell my clients about this. You don't go to a Chevy dealership and look at the smallest car they have and expect to get a Lexus. You
Mhm.
know, that's not how this works. There's different brands and you have to brand yourself. And so I charge for glitter. I charge for every individual color of glitter that we're going to put on there. Now, if it's a pre-mixed, I'm just like Tracy Ryerson. If it's already pre-mixed, you get that for the same price. But if it's in a different pot and I have to start mixing it together, we are spending 15 minutes discussing which type of holographic shape you want for this glitter. I'm charging you for it. You know,
Yes,
that's how it works. And so don't
I
waste
would
your time.
consultations. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And once I've got it mixed and you want it every time after that, okay, $5 until I run out of it. You know, so then you're left with whatever I got. You know, because sometimes you can't get the same glitter, but we'll do a product insert here. Artilio glitters.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you can get those at nailflat.com. No,
Well,
there you
we'll
go,
get to
Renee. I
that.
hit it.
We'll get to that in a second because I do want to talk about, you do trade shows and with Vision Gel and nail flight. So,
Nail flight. Yes. Choose your
but you
destination.
yeah, Elaine says, I need some of that sass, hee hee. And I agree with you. You have a confidence that probably naturally came about you and which has helped you exceed willingly in probably anything that you wanted to pursue, even if you still wanted to go back to zombie makeup. I'm quite sure you could be successful with that because you have the voice. And like she called it sass. I love people that have a voice. They're educated, so their voice actually means something. It's not just to talk. And
Mm-hmm.
so at some point in time, you decided to take this voice to the next level and do the education side of it, which
Mm-hmm.
you're phenomenal with. And so what happened? What was the transition where you're like, I have to do this?
I could tell you exactly the moment. I was a sophomore in high school and I was in sophomore English, and my English teacher said, Brandy, you have diarrhea of the mouth. And I had a hard time making friends as kids, like all the way back to elementary school, like kindergarten. My teacher's telling us about constellations, and this one's Orion, and this one's the Big Dipper. And my dad is a huge nerd. Okay, like he cried when Stephen Hawking died. Huge nerd. Okay, so here I am telling them about the constellation Orion, about the stars it's made up of, and which gases they hold, and the myth behind it, and all this. So this is elementary school, this is kindergarten, and all my classmates are sitting there like, like nerd, And it was like, oh, okay, Brandy, that didn't work. So then sophomore English, all from kindergarten to sophomore year, I didn't really make friends very well because of these type things. And it was like I was really kind of a know-it-all. And I got to a place where I was like, okay, girl, looking at myself in the mirror. If you're gonna be a know-it-all, then you damn well better know it all. Like, because when you open your mouth, you had better know what you're saying. And I love me. Like, I love me. And I know sounds completely narcissistic. I don't love me to the point where I go above and over other people, or I try not to. But I'm very comfortable in who I am. I don't care that I'm fat. I don't care about all my little things. They make me. And I actually get really offended at this one particular commercial that's on Facebook all the time. And it's the one where people like do the teeth mold and they're going to fix their teeth, with the little Invisalign plastic
Okay.
moldy thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't forget what it's called. But like there's this girl and she's got this one little tiny crooked tooth on the commercial, and I'm going, I found that extremely charming. I don't understand why the hell you want to get rid of it. And she's all like, this has been so detrimental to me my whole life. Good Lord, if that is your only problem in life, run with it. Rock it hard because nobody else has that little crooked tooth. You know,
Yeah.
the things that are different about us are what make us so wonderful. I don't care
Yes.
if you have like some gangly thing going on, figure out how to rock you. Like whatever you are confident at, amplify that by 1,000 and rock it hard because that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you your brand. That's where
Mhm.
you get your sass. And I was a theater major in high school and also in college, and I was a professional clown. And to build your clown character, you literally take an attribute that you like about yourself or that you feel insecure about. Like, for example, if someone doesn't like to be laughed at, then that is your area where you need to push yourself. Okay? Because that's where you feel insecure. Open it up, break it open. And when you break that open, you find out that you really like it because you've just been afraid of it. And you have to keep pushing yourself that way. So my nails weren't always the greatest. I have done really crap work that other people said was so gorgeous, and I'm going, if I put this next to Selena Ryden, it's going to look like a big pile of poop, but I see those things, but my clients don't.
Right.
And so you quit sweating the small stuff. Let it go. Just really let it go. Follow after Disney, I guess. But that's you said her name was Elaine. I can't see the comments.
It was Elaine, about the confidence and stuff.
Yeah,
And
you get your confidence through your failures. That's where you get your confidence. Wherever you feel like you fail at, like I said, break it open, keep pushing, because it will happen. And that's when you're like, no, I'm not taking that. I'm not handling that. You were 20 minutes late, and I'm not going to make everybody else on my day late. You're going to have to reschedule. Of course, I'm always the one that's late.
Oh, no.
My clients will show up 10 minutes early, and I'm like, go away, because I'm 30 minutes late. Like, go run an errand and come back. Like, every...
Oh, my gosh. And I teach opposite of that, Brandy. I teach that you have to train yourself to be what your clients are. So if you want your clients to be early, then you need to be early. I'm a person
that's my clients early. I know everybody has different opinions.
Early. Yep,
like
and I
5 minutes. If you want to sit over there, do some business on your phone for 5 minutes, go to the restroom, do whatever for 5 minutes before your appointment time, that's great. But if you come 20 minutes early, I am not rushing because you were early.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fair to the client that is there now. So wait a minute, let's backtrack a little bit. I read in your bio that you are in an Alice in Wonderland themed salon.
Yes.
You have to elaborate on this.
Okay, well, it's really just organic, basically. Okay, so one of the girls that I was in cosmetology school for that half a semester that I was in cosmetology school, there was this girl, she had transferred from the night class to the day class. And she just intrigued me. I don't know why. There's just something about her that she was quiet, but she was kind of hipster vibe-ish. And I just really enjoyed her. Like, I just enjoyed her presence. I could tell that she really didn't have a lot of confidence. And she's probably going to kick me for putting this out there. But her name's April, and I work with her. She is the salon owner. And through a series of really personal, horrific, funny now, but not so much then, a series of events, like Lemony Snicket's type stuff, we ended up, I needed a haircut, and I no longer worked at a salon to where I could trade out services with folks. So I was like, okay, I need a cut and color and a wax, and I need a day at the spa. And this is during the time that my child had been diagnosed with brain cancer. And I was trying to get back into working, and I was kind of debating if I even wanted to come back to a salon at all, because there is a different attitude with hair girls and nail girls. And then the aesthetics girls they're over here in lab coats, and in this quiet little rooms and everything's all, and I'm over here like, yeah. And then hair girls are over here talking. So there's a different attitude. And sometimes those salon dynamics, if you're in a busy salon, sometimes it can get a little, no, I'm not washing your color bowls. I don't do hair. No, I'm not picking the hair out of your combs and brushes and putting them in the barb. It's like, no. Like, they think because I'm just the nail girl. I got that so many times. And so I was really debating, do I really want to find another salon to work at? So I booked an appointment to get my hair cut with April because she had opened a new place right down the street from where my previous one had already been. And like I said, we're in a small town. So, like, there are 6 salons in less than 2 blocks in my town. 6. And we're one of them. And so she had booked, or she had rented a little warehouse style building around the corner from where I was working or had been working. And so I go ahead and get my hair cut, and we're talking about how her business is going. And one of the girls that had opened the salon with her, they were supposed to be business partners, had bailed on her. And the same girl that had bailed on me nearly destroyed my entire business because, like, you got to be careful who you rent to as a salon owner. She brought roaches into my salon. I don't, like I said, lemony snicket
Obviously
type
not
of
one.
stuff.
She
So
brought all their
yeah. Okay. So we had roaches, and then, like I said, I had to take time off because my daughter had brain cancer. So I was allowing her to continue renting while I was taking time off for my child. Well, she wasn't coming to work. And so I had clients calling me while my child's in the ICU, like, I have nobody to do my nails. What am I doing? You know, what's going on? So I'm here having to go back and forth and back and forth and work all these clients. And I ended up finally having to say, I'm sorry, I have to take care of my kid. It nearly destroyed my entire business that I had spent time creating. And so, like I said, I was a bit jaded. So I was talking to her, and she was like, I was really hoping you'd come work for me. She's like, I have no desire to do nails. I have all this stuff already set up here. And I was like, I'll go home and think about it. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I was like, I have no desire to get involved in some sort of contract that I don't want nor need. So I'm just going to throw this out there to her. I'm going to give her this is the only way I will work scenario. I'm only going to work on commission until I feel like I can pay a booth rent because I'm in a rebuilding stage. I'm not going to wash anything. I'm not answering any phones. I'm not doing the cooking and the cleaning and all of that. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, if you need me to do something, like you ask me, like, hey, I can't get this done, I'm more than willing to step in. But if I get that attitude of you're just the nail girl and you're here early and you can do it, I'm walking. Like, all my stuff's getting packed up that day. She was like, I'm down for that. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm going back to work. So I came into work. I'd been there about a week, and we have this, like I said, it's a warehouse type building, and we have this, like a big metal beam construction thing, like hanging up. We have like 25-foot ceilings. So it was hanging up, and she was up on this huge ladder, and she was taking stuff down and hanging up teacups and teapots. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, I was trying to kind of make it look like Alice falling down the rabbit hole hanging from the ceiling, like it's all suspended. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea, And she's like, well, I got these. She had these, they're posters, they're printed, and she had used them for just some artwork in the salon. And she's like, my clients found out that I like Alice in Wonderland, so they keep bringing me all this stuff. So I thought that I would roll with it. So we end up with like all these Alice in Wonderland unique trinkets everywhere. And so I was like, you know what we really need is Alice falling down the rabbit hole. So I got with a massage therapy friend of mine who was also in school with us at the same time. And she's like an actual legit artist, like paintings and portraits and sculptures and all that type of stuff. And so I was like, hey, I need an Alice, like a 4-foot tall Alice falling down the rabbit hole. And she cut one out of one of those large black display boards. She like traced it and did like a profile of just Alice, like all falling. And so we suspended it over our bathroom. Like our bathroom is just like it has a ceiling, but it's just like with 25-foot ceilings, it doesn't go all the way up. It's just like a half little wall, and we can stand on it if we need to. So like we have Alice, and we have a parasol, and we have a globe, and everything's like all falling down. Like I'll have to show you pictures. I'll post pictures later.
Yes.
And then so every time we saw something on Pinterest where it was like, oh, look at that idea, that's kind of cool, that's all Wonderland-ish, and she was like, I'd really like to do that. I was like, let's do it. So then one day she was getting a divorce. Her divorce was final, and she was like, I'm just so and I was like, well, I'm bringing the wine, and I want to paint the bathroom because that pink vomit color that's in the bathroom is just, I can't abide it. So I'm painting it. It was like pink and blue. It was not good. And it had been there when she rented the building. So she was like, I'd really like to do this. And she showed me this image that was on Pinterest. And it was like just a photo shoot. And it had like a Harlequin black and white pattern on the wall. And it was like the whole room was topsy-turvy. and there was people sitting at like a topsy-turvy table, and I was like, yes. So I had my husband come in and measure out the lines, and I hand painted the Harlequin pattern on the wall. So we put the floor on the wall and the wall on the ceiling, and we're gonna take one of those the lamps. It fits on the ceiling, but it kind of looks like a boob. We call it the boob light. Do you know what I'm
Yes,
talking about? It's just this little.
I have them.
We're gonna put one of those as a sconce on the wall so that everything's all like this. We've got the
Yeah.
floor mat on the side and like all of our the mirror for your face and everything. Everything's turned sideways. All the artwork's turned sideways. So it works great. And then we found like different sizes of decks of cards, and we've got those like in this big collage going across the wall. It has morphed. We have an entire wall of clocks. I made a Mad Hatter hat. It stands about 3 feet tall. And I found like old tapestry curtains, and I tore it apart and made this huge hat. And so everything's, yeah, we've transformed this place into the decor is functional for what we need, and it's all put away. It's nice. It's elegant. But it's all crafty, and like I found a topiary at the dollar store, and I put roses and painted them white roses and painted them red, and had it all dripping and little cards with faces on them. And, it's been a way to just be super creative, and our clients love it. And because it's a warehouse building, on the outside, it's just a brick face with a little porch. There's nothing, it's very nondescript. We have our name, that's it. So when they walk in and there's this huge building with all this plush stuff, and they're like, wow, like I didn't realize this was all in here. And even our front door, the way the building is set, like the front door is offset. So when you open it to come in, you have no problem coming in. But when you go out, it's like you always want to push it to go out, but it's a pull. So it's all goofy. And it just adds to the charm. And she's like me, she's got the whole Alice in Wonderland sleeve going up her arm, and she's got her hair, she went through breast cancer, so her hair's growing back, so it's all like, she's got like this Lyle Lovett curl thing going on, and it's shaved on the sides. It's gorgeous. She's a gorgeous person, and I mean, we just fit. We literally, it was like synergy.
Yeah.
We just fit together.
It's finding that niche. You're not like anybody else. You have created
No.
this yourself. It's a collaboration, and that's what sets you apart. So if you walk into all your competition, you know that the clients that are doing the same thing, they're walking in, they're seeing how they're presented. There's going to be a wow factor, and you didn't even have to say anything to them. You need that. So I'm a lot more reserved. So I have like the slippers, I have the fireplace, but I live in the base of the mountain. So, I'm like that, but there's nothing.
I like a modern simplicity. I truly do. I love it. Like I really love it. But a lot of times in the salon industry, you get all these salons that are cookie cuttered.
Yes.
And she was like, did you realize there's another salon that opened up on the block? I'm like, yeah, it happens to be her previous employee, my previous employee, opened that salon. Yeah. And I was like, and she's a block away. She's half a block from us. And I was like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. We're going to do us. And we don't need to worry about them.
Yep.
And their employees of that salon now come to me to get their nails done, which is hilarious.
Yeah, like I said, stay focused on your own rabbit hole.
Yes.
Know what they're doing. Don't be ignorant to that. But so you know what your competition is doing, but you still know how you can be unique and focus on your own uniqueness. Yes. And like what you said, be you.
Be you. You have to rock you. You're the only one that you can do. You can't be somebody else. I cannot be Selena Ryden. That's the name that everybody talks about all the time. Even my clients who don't know who she is they bring me her Instagram pictures, and I'm like, yes, I'm aware. And just so you know, that set of nails took her 9 hours. She'll tell people that, like, it took me like 9 hours in the salon to do this set, but she designed them. And that's why they're like, oh, just do you. I really hate it when my clients don't give me a single, that they don't even give me a color to land on. I'm like, I'm just going to pull this out of here and put this on you now, because that's all I know what to do. Because, we're focused on building the nail. We're focused on filing the nail correctly. We're focused on all the technical points of it. And then when it comes to the artwork, they're like, oh, just do whatever. And I'm like, no, because if I do whatever and you hate it, I'm not replacing it for free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you better give me some feedback here. So like pick a color, pick a glitter, pick a whatever. You know, that's why your art pops are so important. Like pick one.
Yeah, I
Pick
do have a lot.
5, and I'll do 5 different ones. I don't care, but you got to start somewhere.
I love it. So Paul Gehrman is on here, and Paul says, I love Brandy and her personality. Met you at the Gatlinburg for the first time.
Yes, Paul is so awesome.
Yes. And so with that, so at one point we were talking about what made you choose to go to the next level where you got more into the education side of it and using your voice for a little bit more power of that.
Well, I actually really enjoyed because I had a cosmetology adjunct instructor for the nail course at Chattanooga State. She utilized me a lot because I already knew what I was doing to help with the other students, which did not go very well with other students. But I really enjoyed, I felt like it was very comfortable for me to stand up in front of people. I'm fine being in front of people. One-on-one with a new client is terrifying. Being on stage in front of 50,000 people, not so terrifying.
Oh my
And I know
goodness.
that's what's weird. Those
Yeah.
people, I don't know those people. I'm not going to be able to pick them out of that crowd. They may never see me again. I'm never going to know who they are. But this one client that I have to maintain a relationship with every week or every 2 weeks on a rotation, where you see everybody's little intricacies, that terrifies me. Okay, so I found out very quickly that I do better in front of people than one-on-one, which is weird because I do nails and it's one-on-one all the time.
I get
But
it. I get it.
it stretches me in that area, and that's just part of my personality. So I found out very quickly in that class that I did like the teaching portion of it. And I thought, okay, they don't actually have an instructor. Maybe they'll let me take the instructor's course and let me transition into being the nail tech instructor. And they simply refused to do that. And evidently I've ticked them off too many times, but that's fine. So then I was like, I did nails for a while and I thought, okay, I'll open up a private school. Well, then the state of Tennessee changed their laws for opening up a private nail school. Like you can't do that now. You have to have a cosmetology. And I'm like, okay, so it was like every door for that kept closing. So I was like, okay, how do you become an educator with a company? And I really just, I got to this place where I was like, I can't sit here. Like, I don't want to die just at this table. You know, like, I don't want to be stuck to just this table. I'm never going to get away from the table. That's great. But I feel underutilized in my little town of Podunk, you know? And so literally, I went to the Smoky Show. My first Smoky Show was 4 years ago. It was my first nail tech event ever. I had been to hair shows, but I had never been to a specific nail tech show. And so I didn't even know one existed. And the Smokies had been going for like half a decade. And I was like, really? Where have I been? You know, so I found the Smoky Show, found Jill, and so started going. So the first year I went, I bought some product that I needed, looked around at some things, honestly bought a bunch of crap I didn't need because your eyes are like this big when you first go to a show. And I was getting back into the swing of things because I had been out due to my child. And you take 2 years off in this industry, and it's an entirely new world when you come back. So I really took the time to get focused on new products. And like when I graduated it from school, gel polish was just becoming a thing. Like in 2009, 2010, that's when it was really becoming very, very popular. And I didn't really know enough. So, but that transition into a gel polish world, predominantly gel polish world, changed this industry forever. Like we can never go back, right? Like what would we do without base coat, top coat now? But um, so I was like, okay, there's all these new product companies that did not exist 20 years ago. Like it was like Tammy Taylor, Sandy, OPI. That's what we had for like decades. You know, unless you wanted a subpar product, those were the three biggies. And I remember 96, 97 when eBay first became available. And I was like going on and buying everybody's old student kits to get OPI products because I couldn't purchase it, and I was like searching the internet. Craigslist came out and I was like, oh yes, so that was that's how I was getting a hold of a professional products long before I was ever a professional. And so when I started going to the show, okay, first year I was just buying products, things I needed, getting accustomed to the new industry. Second year, I was like, okay, I've got this. Now I've got to find the products that I like. Third year, I was talking to my husband and I was like, I'm coming home with a job. And I hope Ginger is watching. I hope Ginger Westmoreland or Renee Westmoreland is watching, because I was like, I am coming home with a job. And I really honestly wanted to work for Vivian Valenti with Dazzle Dry. Like, I was like, I just love Dazzle Dry products. I love the organicness of how it all works. I love it. And I had used their base coat and top coat for years and didn't, before I even realized they had a whole color line. And I was like, you know,
Thank goodness.
and so I was like, I have to work for Vivian. And I took the class and I was like, I just love Vivian. She's just amazing. She was like, I already have all my positions filled, because she does everything in like little subcategories. Like, so Erin Beckett is amazing as well. And she's like, I already have enough. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, all right, what other gel company can I go for? Because I really love Amy Masters. She's amazing. I love her as a person. Just love her. And I felt
Well, you
like
can
La
let me
Elegance was a
Amy Becker.
monster I didn't want to get into. What
You
now?
can let me all you want, but it's Amy
Oh,
Becker with Masterworks. Hey,
your
you know
name?
what? Amy and I have decided, we've met, a few
I'm
times. We've
looking at you
decided to
instead of
roll.
said your name instead of thinking of her. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We
That,
get it.
you get it all the time, do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I get that too, because there's some other girl named Brandy. Her name starts with a G, and I cannot remember it. But somebody called me her name at the Smoky Show. I was like, no, that's not me. So that does happen to me too. But sorry. You know what I'm talking about?
Amy
Masterworks. I
Becker.
was like, I really wanted to talk to Amy about Masterworks, and so she was like, honestly, right now the industry is kind of shifting, and I really don't want to hire anybody right now. And I was like, okay. All right, so I'm filling this out. And so I had looked into Vision Gel the year beforehand, but I had not gotten to get a hold of their product. So I took their class, and I was already registered to take their class. So I just walked up to Ginger and was like, how does somebody get a job? Like, how can I just get a job? I want to work. And she was like, I got you covered. And that literally, the rest is history. Like, all year long, I've been waiting for Renee to move from Oregon to Georgia. And when I found out they were in Cartersville, it's like an hour and 15 minutes for me. It's just down the road. I'm like, yes. So like, waited for her to move, and then I waited for her to get the warehouse set up, and then I had to wait. Like, it's taken a year, little over a year, for us to get everything kind of up and running. But it's been a really great journey, and I'm so glad that they took a chance on me to give me, some time. But ever since, like, they can tell you, like, when you hit that moment where everything fits, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, all the wheels that you were just spinning, it catches
Yeah.
ground and it just takes off. And that's what I was telling you on the phone the other day. I felt kind of surreal. I had a couple of girls asking for my autograph and picture, and I was like, what? Like, how do you even know who I am? They were like, we've been watching your bird on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, my bird's more famous than me. The peanut is super fab. So if you can't hear them, they're in the background. Both the birds are chirping, chirping, chirping away. And let's see. But that's how I got to be educating. That's what we were talking about. I
You know
told
what the
Ginger, I was like,
one,
I really want to teach people. I know what I'm doing, and I don't really want to toot my horn too much, but like, really, I really actually know what I'm talking about, and I can sell something. And the funny thing is I had went and taken a class with another industry leader. We'll just say that he is really good at what he does. And I told him, I was like, I would really like to sell your products. I'd like to be, uh, I know I have almost every single one of his products. Like, legitimately, I have them all. And when I was trying to find new products, I was trying to transition from OPI and C&D and Tammy, I wanted something new. I wanted something hip. I wanted something cute. I wanted something that would fit me better. And so I went with his product line. And so I bought it all. Like, anytime he came out with something, I just bought it and I built it monthly, had a monthly budget and started building my product line back. And so I took his classes, master class, and I'm like, I would really like to sell your product. He's like, do you have business experience? And I was like, a wee bit, like just a bit. you know. He's like, well, it's $10,000 and you have to have a storefront. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, who has just 10 grand laying around to invest in practically anything? Not many of us, okay? And so I'm thinking, how many people have jumped on that bandwagon just to ride the coattails of someone else? And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to, I don't mind working for a products company, but after talking with Renee and Ginger, it was like, okay, we would like to have a hub of different products like that we feel are the best for what we do. And so it started with Vision Gel, and then it went to things like Nova Flare with Paul. Absolutely fabulous product. Changed my life as a person and as a nail tech. Vision Gel changed my life as a nail tech. Like, I cannot even begin to express to you. I was slowly, like I told you, slowly raising my process, following Young Nails and Tracy Ryerson's example of how to do it, because I knew I had to. And like I said, I'd already charged, but I was charging what the salon down the road was charging. And I wanted to be myself and not them. So I started slowly adding this up. And I was already on that trend of going up when I found Vision Gel. And it was like, okay, guys, I now have this sleek, sexy bottle with this brand new product. So it's not going to be the same price. And this product works. If you're having problems with Vision Gel, acetone is your best friend. That is your prep, your primer, your dehydrator, all in one. You don't need anything else. So it cut my cost. It cut my cost in half because I'm not buying something I'm not already using. So I was able to afford to purchase a new product line cheaply, like, because I can just get it all at one time. It's in one bottle. What else do you need? Like, and I had thought for years, why are these gel companies got it in this little pot? You got to get a special brush and dip it out of here. And it's all like gooey and everything. It's all over your table, all over your lamp. And heaven forbid you miss a spot because then you're sticking to it tomorrow. Like, why do they not put this in a polish bottle? I thought that for years. And then, so when I saw Bottled Builder, a class of bottled, okay, I'm taking it. Like, I'm going to figure out what this is. I built one nail on one of those little stupid fingers that doesn't fit anybody. And why does it have that big hump thing there? Does anybody even know? Anyway, I built one nail and was like, this is the greatest stuff on earth. Like, I don't understand. Like, I was sold with the one nail on that little thing. I was like, take my money. And Ginger was like, we got you. We got you covered. We're going to give you a job. Yeah, we got you. I'm like, okay. Like, and then I was like chomping at the bit for like 2 weeks because I was like, I know my product. And I was like, I need it. So as soon as I got it and I applied it to myself, and went 8 weeks. I was like 8 weeks without a fill-in for 8 weeks. I had no chips, no breaks, no cracks, zero lifting in 8 weeks on somebody who genetically has horrendous natural nails. Like, I have them genetically, and I know what I'm doing. And I've tried IBX. I've done IBX every day or every week for a year. And it did fix the one boo-boo that I actually had that was like, it was like a soft spot in my nail. Like, it was like a scar. Okay. It fixed that. That's great. But like, to hold structure on its own, it just breaks. Like, it peel, lift, split, tear, break. They just would not grow. So here I've went 8 weeks and I've got nails that are out to here, from the show that I'm still wearing 8 weeks later and nothing. So it really changed my life as an individual. And then when I started putting it on my clients and transitioning them from acrylic or hard gel into Vision Gel, and I can charge them almost double what I was charging the 2 weeks beforehand. And when they're like, okay, I'll try, all right, this one time I'll see. And then they're coming back. I went a month where I didn't have a single phone call. Like I had bare bones clients for
Mhm.
like a month. And I was like, oh my God, I've completely screwed up everything. I was like freaking out. And then all of a sudden I went from a standard week of 15 clients a week, which is I work part-time. So standard week of 15 clients a week. All of a sudden I had 30 clients in a week.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then now it's 50 clients in a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was my clients that were coming every 2 weeks and I was having to work really hard because they're splitting, they're lifting, they're cracking, they're breaking, they've broke one off, they've ripped it off, they've peeled it off, all these different things. You cannot peel this crap off. They can't get a little lip to even peel it off. It's
Mhm.
on there.
Yeah.
Okay. So where they were coming at 2 weeks, now they were stretching it to 6. And I was like, no, you can go 4 if
That's
you
what I
have
tell
to, but you're calling me at 3 because
Yeah.
if you go past 3 weeks, I'm now charging you for a full set because that's a lot of space that I'm having to fill in. That's not a fill in, that's a new set. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the work plus the product, that's a full set. So if you get past 4 weeks, I'm charging you for a new set.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's how this is gonna work. So they were coming in at 6 weeks, and I was like, no. So, but 6 weeks, that's a month and a half.
Yeah.
And so do you know how many more clients I can put into my schedule if they're coming at 4 instead of 2? I tripled my clientele just by adding a new product that actually worked for me. Okay. Actually works for the 85 to 90% of my clientele. I still have some acrylic holdouts. That's fine. I use them, but I was using the acrylic and the dust and the fumes I didn't have a ventilation system. And I was doing everything I was supposed to, had a towel, all that. But all that fine dust after 20 years of breathing it, 20 years of having those fumes 6 inches from your face, even though I was doing it like I was supposed to, I literally stayed with a croup for 6 to 8 months out of the year. Like just couldn't talk, was rough. And
Wow.
and that's in a building with 25-foot ceilings. There's plenty of
Yeah.
space for that to go, and it's
Mhm.
still up in here. And so I was like, okay, I have to have the NovaFlare. I have to get a ventilation system. So when Renee brought on NovaFlare through Vision, I was like, oh, this is great. So I bought it. But what I did was, and this is what Paul was so impressed with, is what so many people are impressed with, is when you have ride or die clients that are coming to you all the time. They're with you no matter what. Everybody at least has one or two of those type clients.
Yeah.
But even if you've got a client that is impressed with your work and they're coming and they're enthusiastic about you, you got to keep that enthusiasm because people are fickle.
It needs a new. Yes.
So you put their money where their mouth is. You get them to invest in you. Well, how do they invest in you? I needed a NovaFlare. That's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, depending on which one you get, depending on if you get a table, if you get all the extras. And so that's a big chunk of change out of anybody's budget monthly. So if you're just going to just buy it, unless you're going to put it on a credit card or something and pay it, that's a big chunk of change. So what I did was I just emailed 10 of my ride or die clients. And I was like, here's the deal. You donate $50, I will give you 10% off for a full calendar year. It will more than pay for itself. You donate $100, I'll give you 15% off on whatever services you as an individual get for a full calendar year. It will more than pay for itself. But I need to be able to take this and get this because it's not just my health, this is your health. You get them, I'm not just begging for money. I'm giving them something for what they're getting
Mhm.
or what they're giving. And they're now invested. They have
Yeah.
money put into it, not just their nails, not just their money that they pay you for. They are now invested in coming all the time. So I
Wow.
was able to pay, I bought my NovaFlare. It was approximately $1,400. I forget exactly. I paid for all of it, but $300 with donations from my clients. Okay. Now I'm taking a cut on yearly, but they're tipping me anyway. They're paying for service, they're tipping me anyway. Honestly, it comes out in the wash.
I
I
bet
just
they see
needed the
the
large portion.
difference. Yeah. Yeah.
And so recently my drill died. So I had to get a new Erica's MT20, which is, if you catch it on sale, you're at $450, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's going to be closer to 5, 6 after tax and shipping. And so I was
Mhm.
like, Okay, it's not showtime, so I can't wait 2 months to go to another show and get a show price. So I also wanted to get a daylight lamp. I want to get the floor stand so that it's not on my table, so that it comes up and over, because they were fabulous. I used one at the Smokey Show. It was great. And altogether, that's going to be like almost $900 for my new e-file. Excuse me, it's not a drill, it's an e-file. And a new lamp, for taxes and shipping and the cost of the product or the cost of the equipment. And so I sent out a blast email to 10 other clients. Here's what I've got going. Here's the pictures, a screenshot of what I'm going to be buying, and let me know if you want to donate. So far, out of needing $800 is what I was asking for, 550 of that has been covered.
Wow.
Within less than a month, and they're getting paid back, but now they're invested, so they're going to continue coming. And I got my drill, getting my lamp. It's ordered. I think Renee's getting it ordered like this next week or whatever. So I might have to come out of pocket for a little, but a little is a whole lot better than all of it all at one time.
Or
also,
to not,
like,
right, because you
I
can't
did the
justify.
same thing when I was buying into the Vision product line. I wanted the Vision. I like continuity. So I wanted not only the rubber base and not only the colored builders, but I wanted the gel polish line as well. Well, there's in their core line, there's over 300 colors. There's 435 colors in just their core line. So that's $15 a bottle.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. So what I was doing was, after taxes and shipping, for me to get one bottle, it's approximately $18, $19, $20, after taxes and shipping.
Yep.
So what I was doing was showing my clients, here's the swatch book. If you pay $20, whatever artwork you want, when you pay that $20, I don't care if it's a $50 set of nails, just for the artwork. Whatever artwork you want, we'll cover it if you donate $20 to buy a specific color. Tell me what color you want. I'll get that color. It's $20. You've donated that $20 and you get some banging nails for that $20. So that's a way for them to save money. They're saving money, as well as making your plethora of polishes and colors. This is a way to invest your clients across the table, because they're investing in you like you're investing in your business and them, and it makes the whole relationship go a whole lot better.
Yeah, it does.
It really is, because they feel like it's theirs. Like, this is my nail salon that I go to. This isn't just the chick that does my nails. This is their place they go, because now they're invested. So now they're invested and they're telling other people. So I literally went, the first year coming back to work, I went back to work in June. First year coming back, like I said, I worked part-time. So I worked from June until the first of the year. I made $6,000. Next year, I made 18. The year after that, when I added Vision Gel and had started all this, raising my prices and charging specifically for individual a la carte art stuff, I hit 28. So it was like 6, 18, 28. This year, and this is what I will bring in. I will break 50 at the current rate of expansion. As long as nothing declines or nothing weird happens before the first of the year, I'll break $50,000. Now, I'm in a town of 6,000 people or less.
Yeah.
That is unheard of. Most nail techs make approximately $30,000. That's the average what people make. Now, my booth rent, April and I were able to work it out. Like, my booth rent is really cheap. It's really cheap. Like, I'm really cheap. Okay, so, and the malpractice insurance is like less than $500 for a year. It's cheap. If you don't have it, buy it. It's worth it. It's really cheap. And so, like, my overhead is not a lot. So most everything that I make just goes straight into my pocket. And I've done that by having smart business practices, like by utilizing your clients. That's how these larger companies do things. They have investors. That's how they are able to do so much, is because they have investors. You are a company all on yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in your clients. Get your clients to invest in you. That's how it works. It's shared profits at that point. Their profit is me having great products and things to use for them. That's their profit,
Mhm.
you know. And the next thing is one of the next business things that I do is during tax season, when tax season is coming up, the entire month of December, I'm telling people, when you get your taxes filed and you get your return, do you think about this? Because there's like people that extreme budget, especially single moms on a budget or older ladies who are on retirement. It's a whole lot easier for them to pay, say, $300 at one time, and then they have a punch card that has 12 slots on it. So I charge $30 for a basic pedicure. I don't do any frills with pedis. I take care of the skin, I take care of the toes, I paint them, you're out. Okay, because that's not my focus. Some people like Nelly, he's got 2,500 bucks he's getting for a pedi, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
because that's just, I can't even mentally comprehend that. And I know how he does it, but it's just, that's wild to me. Wild.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just do basic pedis. Put your feet in the bowl, get you some water on them, get you salted up and scrubbed up and done. You know, that's how I do it. So if they want, my older ladies who just want their toes taken care of, they want them clipped, they want them nice. Okay, you want to pay $300, it'll save you $60 for the year. You know, you get 12. If you use all 12 of those up in 6 months, that's your deal. But so like offer them a punch card that has like you've paid for 12 slots, but you're getting a slot discount for those 12 slots. You want to do stuff like that? Yeah, they're invested. They've already paid for their year. So whatever your price is, your price point is, say if $50 for a full set. Okay, times 12. Then take off 2 of those services. So they're paying for a full year, but they're getting 12, but they're paying for 10. Okay,
Right.
well, that's only the base service price. Whatever artwork and tip, that is not included in that. That is just the base service. That is your fill-in, that is your full set, that is your whatever you're doing. They get so many as your base price. And then all of your extras, your artwork is where you make all your money.
Mhm.
It's like going to a soda fountain, going to a restaurant. They make all their money on the drinks. You know,
Yes.
I ran McDonald's for 4 years. That's what I did prior to school, is I ran a McDonald's. And I promise you, it cost them approximately 4 cents to make an extra large drink. Okay, so if you paid $4 for it, they have 100% profit, like 1,000% profit. They're making ungodly amounts of money on their drinks. That's why they can sell you a large drink for $1 and still make a lot of money. You know, so your artwork is where you're going to make all your money.
It's so true.
I'm
And
sorry,
even
I
if
feel
you
like
don't
I've
do
talked
artwork,
nonstop.
no, even if you don't do artwork, you have to find that special, like, what you want to specialize in. Like for me and you, obviously, it's shape, structure, artwork, but some people it's natural nails, some people it's pedicures or whatnot. But
Exactly.
just finding your niche and being strong in that. Somebody had made a comment earlier. It's important to educate the clients, and you know you've talked a lot about that. You not only educate the client, but you allow them to be part of your education, to invest in you getting into the products and the product lines and the Nova flares and all of that to be able to get
Well,
the,
like, that's what I told my clients 3 years ago when I made less than $20,000 for the year. I spent 7 of that on classes.
yeah,
You know, like I went to classes and shows. I spent 7 grand in 1 year getting accustomed to new products. You know, and so if I'm going to stay up on these products and I'm going to stay up on the instruction, you know, how to get this done, I have to make money. Like,
yeah,
I did a live video a while back. There was a girl, she works at the local Walmart, and one of my clients also works with her, and the young lady doesn't come to me anymore. She feels I'm too expensive. That's perfectly fine. What bothered me is when she told a potential new client, don't go to Brandy. She's way too proud of herself. Okay, that bothered me because I'm not going to say that to you, and we're supposed to treat each other the way we want to be treated. I don't treat you that way, and I will call you out if you treat me that way. That's, you know, like I will say something. So
right.
I was talking about like nobody is going to answer a casting call for a job of any kind. Like you're not going to go to any type of company and be like, yes, I want this job. And the guy's like, okay, we're going to give you this job, but you have to pay to be here. You have to pay for all of your training and education. You have to pay for all of your products. Everything that you do, you have to pay out of pocket for. Then you're going to work 6 or 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, but we're only going to pay you X amount of money. It's like 20 grand. We're only going to pay you 20 grand. What fool is going to take that job? Like,
But we
what?
quit.
But that's how nail techs, they're not thinking about it. Like, when you go to sign a contract for a job, any job, I don't even care if it's McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't even treat people that way. Walmart doesn't treat people that way. You know, like, you sign up to make $7 an hour, and they give you your little hat and your little shirt and your name badge. They may tell you, yeah, you got to buy some skid safe shoes, but guess what? That's tax deductible. You get that back. You know, like, they are not. They're not going to be like, you're only going to make $15,000 a year, but you have to pay for everything you do. No, that's not how this job works. But nail techs, they're not thinking that way. They're not thinking, well, I have to buy all this stuff, even if it's art supplies, even if it's just glitter. No, it's not just glitter. And Young Nails, that's what I really, really enjoyed about Tracy Ryerson's video, is she was like, let's do the math. If you give away a $5 glitter to every client, and you've done 50 clients for the year, or 50 clients a week, 5 times 50, that's $250 a week, times 4. You know, you're now at $1,000. You know, like, you gotta think about it. And my math may have been wrong. I'm not thinking about math, but you gotta think about, you know, your $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year.
Yes. Yeah.
That you gave away because it's just glitter. That's a lot of money. You don't give away anything. You know, if you want to do a game, I'm sorry, my child's calling me from the school. It's the first day of school here. I may need to go see what's happening. Oh, you know, like, it's, I don't know what else to talk about. We've been talking for a minute.
Yeah.
But
you know, I can listen to you all day. Like I said earlier, you're using your voice, but what comes through your voice is pure knowledge, education, and it makes us think about it in a different way. And I love that. I thrive on that. You are a great mentor. You're a great education. I would love to sit in your chair and be pampered by you. And I think it's important. I think it's important for us to have that confidence, build that confidence, and whether you find it for free, like in our groups, or you find it through YouTube's, like where you first started or whatnot, or through, you know, these tech talks or whatever, reach out to the people and get that connection, build it, because we want to help you have that same kind of confidence. And we all have confidence in a different way, and we can all speak it in a different way. And some of us can speak it fluently and greatly, like what you just did, where we're all like in tune to what you're saying and like wow and awed by that. And some of us, it just doesn't come as natural. And so I thank you for sharing your voice. And obviously for years you've been able to share a voice to make an impact on so many levels, let alone, I mean, I didn't even get to the normal questions of how do you balance family, which obviously you need to deal with. And
well,
how do
you I can tell you that I went to appointment only. And honestly, the minute I went to appointment only, I was booked solid. I didn't have to sit at the salon and wait, because now I spent years prior building a reputation of Brandy does nails. So like, sometimes there are things that you have to take into practice. But when I said my child is sick, I have a family, I have a life, and I'm only going to be here if you're going to be here. Yep. It made me something they want. And that's the same type of scenario with pricing yourself. The minute I became a desired artifact, you know, this thing that I'm untouchable unless they book an appointment.
Yeah.
It became something that they really want. Like, the thing, not everybody can get her because she's so busy, you know, and you kind of have to get that reputation. But once you get a bit of a following and then you say, okay, I'm down to this, it opens up you to have a life or a second job or read a book, you know, whatever you want to do. So, you know, slippers and coffee.
Yeah. Well, Brandy, I hate to have to end this tech talk. You have so much. I definitely would like to invite you to be on a guest again and even share 6 months from now where the difference is with, you know, what you're doing with Vision Jail. And we didn't even get to talk about, you know, all the other stuff that you're involved in. But I thank you, like from the bottom of my heart, for being real and being honest and just putting it out there. And so many of us, like in the beginning, they were talking, we wish we had the sass. I wish I had that part of it too. I have it. I do. It comes out every now and
Everybody has it, but it comes out like your mama bear moments come out. I turned mine up a long time ago and I don't feel like going back.
well, it's a great inspiration, and thank you for being that with us today. So,
Thank you for
everyone,
having me.
thanks
I'm
for
so blessed.
joining in. So, what I want to do, I know like Paul's, Anita had asked for Paul's link, and Renee's on here, and all of that. So, put in all the ways that we can find you from your Instagram to your Facebooks and all of that, so that we can kind of right
Do you want me
along
to
the way.
comment that later? Okay.
Yeah, because that way that's in the written format of it. So perfect. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
I'll be
So
in nail. I'll
thank
be in
you.
Sacramento in September for the nail show out there in Sacramento, and then we'll be at the Utah Nail Expo. You said you're not going.
Oh, I just so Light Elegance is sending me to Premiere Philadelphia in September, and that fell right between the Utah one that I was contemplating and Nail Camp West. And
Hmm.
so I had to make some sacrifices, and I chose to go to Premiere Philadelphia. And so I won't be there this year, but I went to the Utah Nail Show last year, and it's a small one, but I loved it. Actually, Nellie
This
was
one they said is
there.
very intimate, and I really liked it.
I
So I'm
did.
looking forward. I'm very looking forward.
Yeah. So somewhere along the way our paths will meet, I know that for sure. And likewise continue through these tech talks, we can continue to connect to each other no matter where we are internationally. So as I said this just recently, my husband came up with the quote for tech talks, and it was educating techs one talk at a time. And it
Yes.
just fit. And so I thank him for that. And I thank you for your time and your education and along this. And just thank you so much for being
Thank
so
you.
open and honest.
Been so blessed by you. Like I've seen you in the magazines and stuff for years. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And send us pictures of your Alice in Wonderland themed
I
salon.
will.
I
I
would
will.
love to see. All right. Thank
I
you
will.
guys so much. You have a fabulous day.